Welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very, very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. I have another hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. We're just going to give it to you. And give it to you straight. And folks, this one's getting insane. The world that we're living in today is this absolute insanity. So yeah, today is going to be a fun one. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. I'm going to show a little bit of my past with you. I'm going to share a little bit of my personal experience with you. Listen, friends, somebody who owns real estate, commercial, residential, owes a lot of what he has to real estate, works in real estate, loves real estate, understands real estate cycles, understands that the markets all have gone through booms and busts historically. So anytime I see a real estate professional saying this market won't crash, this time is different, I have to politely disagree. Now, could I be wrong? Of course. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong many times before. I've risen from the ashes of life many times. In fact, that's what I come with today. Not necessarily having a crystal ball, but having experience. It all comes down to experience, folks. And, you know, having an intuition, understanding things that used to baffle you. And we're in a baffling world right now. It is hard to make sense of this. I know how hard it is, especially now because we're so connected digitally. Our digital diet is insane. Insanity. It is a double-edged sword. It will, in fact, be a contributing, if not sole factor, of the next collapse or blowback or correction or recession or depression. Take your pick. They've all happened over history. But I do believe that the digital diet we're on now is very important. I'm going to explain a little bit of why Judge Judy, it dawned on me once how this, in fact, works. So the reality is, folks, I'm a longtime salesman. And I was working for a company at one point in my career in the capacity of a salesman. I was fortunate. I lived very close to work. I could go home for lunch every day. Quite the luxury, I'm sure. So many people back on the roads now driving hours to work. I was very fortunate. I always said I'd rather be happy making less money than miserable making more. So a lot of people stuck in their cars to make a few extra dollars at work, but now inflation is robbing them of that. And it just sucks, because if you could have maybe taken a lesser paying job close to home and improved the quality of your life. And I almost ruined that for myself, even living close to work. So like I said, I'd go home for lunch every day, and I'd make myself something to eat, sit at the coffee table, eat, relax, enjoy a little time at home. Maybe click on the TV and see what was on. And every day at this time, I'd go home for lunch. For some reason, Judge Judy was on, and she was great. She was engaging. Like, I'd watch her and just be like, gosh, this lady's gnarly. She's just ruining these plaintiffs and defendants, telling them they're idiots. And it was very, very engaging. And that's what we're dealing with today. Today, we want to be shocked. We want to see people giving real talk. Here's the challenge. And that's why I always do my best to come to you folks, not cynical, not judgmental, trying to develop love for all humanity. I really do my best to do that, because I understand at the end of the day, that's what's going to pay me the biggest dividends. Not how much money I have or where I live or what I own and material things. You can't take it with you. All we want is basic security and happiness. And I'm here to help you achieve that. So I'm watching Judge Judy every day. I'm a salesman for a company at the time. And then I'd go back to work after watching Judge Judy, and I started getting a little bit hard on my customers, telling them, giving them, hey, no, you're wrong. I'm right on this one. Started not enjoying the work. Didn't really dawn on me why. Because I was taking Judge Judy to work with me. She is very cynical, at least for a TV show. Maybe in her private life she's not. But listen, folks, we are a product of our thoughts. Anything you're digesting is going to seek an outward expression. I saw that firsthand. So I had to cut out Judge Judy from my digital diet. And I still do that today. I'm very picky and choosy about who I choose to watch. So I want to congratulate anybody that's come here and chooses to watch this channel, just showing both sides of this coin, this economy, this housing market, history, experience, everything I can in a way that's not cynical or not from a place of love. At the end of the day, that's all I really want to do. I want to see everybody succeed, but I just know from my experience, buying in the height of a real estate bubble did not work in the last one. And real estate has always found itself in a bubble environment throughout history. The challenge with this one is it was artificially produced through the courtesy of a health pandemic and lockdowns and flooding the economy with dollars. People had this influx of income and nowhere to go spend it. We had pent up demand and it put the supply in a chokehold from everything, just everything across the board. Housing, goods, services, whatever. But now inflation has reared its ugly head. We're at the tipping point, the razor's edge. This one has to correct at minimum. A recession is possible, and a full-blown depressionary level of a downturn cannot be ruled out. So when I see real estate professionals, just yesterday, I think I was on Instagram, links in the description below for mine, a real estate agent saying, my client said they're waiting for the crash. And I'm like, there's not going to be any crash. This time is different. And the reality is, folks, the only thing holding up this current housing market is supply and demand. We have supply in a chokehold from a pandemic. We're leaving a pandemic now. Inventory is coming. We will, in fact, see inventory come. It's going to be now at what level and how fast. But eventually, we are going to cool this market off. Many would already argue, and myself included, it is cooling off because we're not seeing those huge run-ups the way we saw. It's now leveling off with loan applications down, sales down, and prices starting to hit a ceiling. They can't tolerate any more growth. So this one is flatlining. If we look at previous bubbles, this is what's happened, a cool down. My advice for you today, folks, in final thoughts, is watch don't watch mainstream media. Watch this channel. What we're going to see is a narrative of its markets are cooling and it might not be a bad time to buy. But the reality is, folks, is interest rates are going to rise. In my opinion, if and when you're going into these markets, you're going to have to come in heavy and you're going to have to come in hard. And you're going to do it in potentially an environment where people are going through panic and throwing stuff overboard and trying to get light to keep up with inflation. As we're speaking right now, inflation is slowly robbing people of their wealth till eventually they're going to hit a breaking point, and ultimately every time the last thing to go is the house. And I feel sorry for many people that went and paid a lot of money and bought in the height of a real estate bubble and financially exposed themselves. And even as a real estate agent, I just don't like to, as much as I will sell a house today. I have no problem with doing that. I really have a hard time seeing somebody spend their life savings to do that, where one hiccup in their income or the economy could throw them into a tailspin and they're now dragging a depreciated asset along for the ride until eventually they can't hang on to it anymore and it has to go. My fear is that the 10 million people that just bought in the height of this buying euphoria, at the height of a real estate bubble, are in fact that group first. As we see these new developments pop up all over the place, those are all brand new homes with brand new buyers and mortgages, bubble buyers. Not all of them might find themselves unable to carry the house any longer, but my guess is many of them will. Wages aren't keeping up with inflation. Anybody telling you there can't be a crash wants to sell you a house. Possibly anybody that's telling you there's going to be a crash wants to sell your house. Please look at real estate agents with a grain of salt. They're going to fit in wherever they need to fit in to get your business. If you want to sell, they're going to agree with you a crash is coming. If you want to buy, they're going to tell you no crash is coming. It's just the way these people are geared to operate. Many of them have drank in the Kool-Aid themselves. They're underneath huge debt, Through the bubble, they've made a bunch of money. Listen, most of these real estate agents made a ton of money through the pandemic when this whole thing kicked off. Now it's subsiding. They're dropping out. They're begging for work. Their writing is on the wall. Mark my words on this one. You will see a shift in this market. It is guaranteed. There is no way, in my opinion, this one sustains itself. It's mathematically impossible. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment below. Social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like to message me there, along with other channels I've appeared on I think you would enjoy if you're watching on your television set today. Another video is in your screen at this time, along with an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. We'll see you on the next video.